Hello, my name is Julia. Today we have a Yin Yoga practice using a chair for support. So first off, I'm going to explain a little bit about Yin Yoga if you're new to Yin. So for Yin Yoga, we're going to be focusing on our plastic tissues in the body. That includes our joints, our connective tissues, ligaments, tendons. We're going to be putting some gentle stress on those tissues, on the joints, holding in a posture for about 5 minutes, give or take today, coming to what we call our edge of sensation and kind of letting that sink in there. And as we come out of the pose, we'll take a minute to rebound, kind of let fluid rush back to the joints, just kind of let that sink in. And so I will keep track of the time for these postures for you today, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just let yourself get into that posture, let your body really get in there. And also, if you'd like to have a couple of props, you could have yoga blocks, totally optional. And then you also have a blanket. You could have a nice thick folded blanket. We're going to do a couple of our postures towards the end of the sequence on the mat, if you like, with the chair as a support. So you may want to put a blanket on the seat of the chair when we get to that point. Feel free to have that. And if you don't have any yoga blocks, you can always use a nice sturdy book here, just something to rest your feet on for a couple of our poses here. And also, just one last thing, a note about chair. When we're doing our chair yoga, we'd like to have a nice, stable, sturdy chair that doesn't have any wheels on it, so we're not going to slip or roll, and just find a nice non-slip surface. So maybe setting the chair on your mat or just making sure you're in a nice sturdy surface. You could also do this flow using a bed, a bench, a couch, anything. As long as you're nice and stable, that's the most important part. So go ahead and find whatever seat is most comfortable to you, whatever you're using today. We're just going to begin with our breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Maybe take a moment to notice the ground beneath your feet. Notice the support of the chair underneath your sits bones. Noticing the support against your spine if you have a back on your chair that you're sitting on. Just beginning to breathe here. Notice if you're holding any tension. Maybe just begin to let yourself soften. And know here, as we're sitting in this meditative posture here, that everything I offer today is an option. Feel free to take what you need and leave what you don't, knowing that you can come out of any posture at any time if needed. I invite you now to try Samavriti, equal ratio breathing if you like. Breathing in for a count of 3. Hold for 3. And exhale for 3. Maybe completing a few rounds of this pattern of breath. Inhaling for a count of 3, holding for a count of 3 at the top, and then exhaling for a count of 3. And at any point, if that does not feel good for your body, feel free to come back to the natural breath. If your mind begins to wander throughout practice, let your thoughts come and go without judgment. You can always bring yourself back to the breath, centering yourself. Our first yin posture here in the chair, we're going to do a twist. So I invite you maybe to turn sideways in your chair, keeping your feet on the ground here. Maybe taking a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, perhaps bringing your hands to the back of your seat here. Gently twisting towards your right side. Option here if you want to look out over that shoulder. Finding your edge of sensation. Letting that sink in. Knowing that I will let you know when it's time to transition. And at any time, if you need to, feel free to slowly come out of this posture by gently bringing your torso back to center. Bring your hands down to your lap and take any other posture that feels comfortable if needed. Take a nice deep breath in as you exhale, gently twisting your torso back. Maybe just taking a nice comfortable shift in the seat. Notice your sits bones on your seat. Take a moment to rebound. Notice that sensation as you come out of the pose. Maybe resting those hands gently on top of the thighs. Eyes can be open or closed. Whatever is most comfortable for you. As you're ready, you can walk your feet through center here in your chair, coming over to the other side. Your feet facing towards the left now, your knees facing towards the left. Planting those feet on the ground beneath you here. Taking a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, you twist to the left, bringing your hands to the back of your seat, your couch, whatever you are sitting on today. And just gently breathing into the spine. Allow your shoulders to relax as much as possible. If you like looking out over your left shoulder, feel free to do so. I invite you to explore your edge of sensation. Settling in there, knowing that you are free to come out of the posture at any time if needed. If you feel any pain or discomfort, you always have the option to come out of the pose and take whatever pose feels right for you in the moment. Knowing that I will guide you out when we are ready to transition. Invite you now to take a nice deep breath in. Be gently turning your head and your torso back in line over those hips. Coming out of that gentle twist there, letting that sensation sink in. Maybe placing those hands on tops of the thighs, noticing maybe some warmth radiating from the hands onto the thighs. Rebound here. You can go ahead and face forward in your seat again here. Again, keeping those feet planted on the ground. We're going to here have the option to take a butterfly pose. You may want to have a block underneath your feet, or two blocks even, or two large books perhaps. Put them out as far as you'd like. What we're going to do here is I'll show you first without the blocks. You may need to come a little closer to the edge of your seat, kind of bringing your feet together, opening through the hips, keeping our sit bones planted on the chair here, but you may decide to come off the chair with those thighs, or you can come a little closer here. Option to place your feet on blocks, placing them on top of the blocks like so, or even placing a block in between the feet like this and maybe scooting out a little bit farther. So finding which variation feels the most comfortable for you. We'll be here for about 5 minutes. So I encourage you to explore and find what works for your body today. I'm going to use this variation here, demonstrate with this variation. My feet on top of the blocks, my sit bones are on the chair, the tops of my thighs are a little bit on the chair here. You can keep your hands at your thighs. Feel free as we move deeper into the pose, holding a couple minutes in. If it feels good to you, you can explore folding forward in the butterfly, bringing those hands down towards the feet. Of course, finding your edge of sensation, what's most comfortable for you. If you'd rather recline back, feel free to take that option as well, knowing you are free to use whatever option feels best for you today. I will let you know when we are transitioning out. If you notice that you've perhaps hit your first edge of sensation here, feel free to maybe gently fold forward, finding maybe a second edge here, about halfway through, just knowing you are free to come out of this posture at any point if it becomes too much sensation. I invite you to listen to your body and honor your body today. Invite you now to take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, if you were folded forward, make your way back up to center. Maybe gently using your hands to guide those knees back together. To rebound here for just a moment. Resting in stillness, letting the effects of our practice sink in. If you like, you may also come to the edge of your seat and windshield wiper your legs, moving your knees from side to side. If you would like a little bit of dynamic movement here, take whatever you need. For our next posture, you may like to have your blocks as well. We're going to take a seated figure 4 here. I invite you to, again, explore the options that feel best for your body. You can always place a block under the feet. So if you're starting with your right leg, taking the right ankle up to top of the left thigh, if you'd like to have a block underneath that left foot to create a little more space, feel free. Otherwise, you can also take that block next to the inside of the left foot and gently place the right foot on top for a little more gentle sensation here. So that is always an option. Or also, if you don't want to use the blocks, you can press firmly into the ground with that left foot. Place that right ankle on top of the left thigh. You can have your hands here, really anywhere you like, anywhere that's most comfortable for you. We'll be here for about 4 minutes. Breathing in to this posture. Knowing at any time you are free to move out of this posture if needed. Noticing sensation coming to your edge today. You are also welcome, if you notice that you would like a little sensation in the back body, to feel free to fold forward. as much as you like or as little as you like. Again, exploring your options here. Your next in-breath, gently releasing this posture. Exhale, bringing your feet to the floor. Maybe windshield wipering those legs a little bit before we move on to our other side. Again, taking whatever variation you prefer. Noticing maybe too if one side feels a little different than the other side, and that is okay. Always an option to support yourself however you need. So if you're taking this variation here, bringing the ankle of the left foot to the top of the right thigh. Again, feel free to place your right foot on a block, create a little more space here, or feel free to place that block next to your right foot and place the left foot on it, opening up the hip gently. Finding your edge of sensation, gently folding forward maybe if you like, or maybe as we progress into the hold, you find that you want to move forward a little bit. That is totally fine. Knowing you are free to take whatever option works for you and free to come out of the posture at any time by gently releasing that foot, left foot right back to the ground and bringing the left knee back to meet the right. Taking a nice deep breath in, I invite you to take your time coming out of this posture, gently sliding that left ankle down, bringing that foot to the floor. Maybe lean back on your seat just a little bit, walk your feet out just for a moment. We're just going to rebound for a minute here. Soften through the body. Feel the sensations, the effects of that pose. Maybe you take a little smile. As you're ready, we're going to come into our last posture seated on the chair here. So, making yourself as comfortable as possible, bringing your feet out a little bit wider, finding your shifting until you find what's most comfortable for you. We're just going to do a dangling pose in the chair. So if we're in our standing dangling pose, if you've done this standing, you know we often hold on to the elbows like so, folded over. So feel free to do that if that feels okay to you. Coming forward on this chair here. You can have your legs wide apart here. You could also have your legs closer together, kind of dangle that way. So noticing how the sensation changes with the legs closer together or farther apart, and feel free to take whichever one serves you today, works best for you. Also, if you do not want to hold on to the elbows, feel free to let your hands rest at the ground if you feel more supported that way. You can always rest your hands on blocks as well, creating a little more space here. Finding what works best for your body. You may want your legs closer together, farther apart. You may want to use blocks. You may like to hold to the elbows. Feel free to explore, take what you need, and we'll be here for about 5 minutes. I will guide you out as we transition, knowing you are free to gently lift yourself up out of this posture at any time. As we have been in this posture for a couple minutes, if you find that maybe your body wants to go deeper, you can honor that. Maybe folding forward a little deeper. And as always, these are just options. So feel free to take whatever works for you right now, knowing you can go as deep into the pose as is comfortable for you. Once you are ready, taking a nice deep breath in, rooting down through your sits bones, gently rolling up the spine, bringing your head up last. Taking a moment, perhaps bringing the hands to the thighs. Rebound for just a moment. Maybe taking a moment to connect back with your breath. Notice the sensations in your body. Soften. If you feel like you'd like to soften the shoulders, the jaw, the face. I invite you here now, if you would like, before we come down onto our mat, to take any dynamic movement, perhaps tilting your right ear towards the right shoulder, and then gently switching, if that feels good to you, side to side, maybe nodding the head. Maybe shaking the head. From side to side gently. Perhaps if you'd like, taking a couple of seated cat and cows, shining your heart forward on the inhale. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Noticing how that movement feels. Then, as you are ready, press into your feet, maybe using your hands to press yourself up out of your seat. Option here to turn your chair like so, coming down to the mat. Perhaps if you have a hard chair like this, you can take a cushion or a blanket and set it on the seat of the chair. We're going to do a little Dragonfly Fold here. So coming down to sit in front of the chair, feel free to bring your legs out as wide as you like. You can even kind of bend the knees if you need to here. Getting as close as you would like to the chair. You may have to get a little closer in just to be able to fold over the top. Maybe bringing your forehead, maybe resting the cheek on the chair if that is more comfortable. Folding up your blanket as needed to create a little pillow. We're just folding over the seat of the chair. You can have your legs out long if you like, keeping your knees as bent as you want here. Just gently resting. If you have your cheek on the mat or on the blanket, about halfway through, I will let you know to maybe turn your head to the other direction. We'll be here about 5 minutes. Go ahead and turn your head the other direction if your head is turned. Take a nice deep breath in. Be gently pressing yourself up off of your chair, gently scooting the hips back. Option here to take whatever you need. You could extend your legs out long in a seated staff position here, or maybe bending the knees, kind of hugging your arms around the legs here. Rebound for just a moment. Take a nice deep breath in, sigh it out. Next posture here we have is a half butterfly fold. So extending your left leg long, bringing that right foot to the inside of the left thigh. A half butterfly position here. Scooting yourself up to your chair. You may even let the legs of the chair kind of rest against your legs to provide a little bit of support here. Again, with this folded blanket, you have this option here to rest your forehead here if you like. Or another option is to rest your cheek. Resting your left cheek on the mat, on the blanket here. Either option is good. If you have your head turned, then when we switch sides in transition, you can change your head to the other side. Go ahead and find whatever position works best for you today, knowing you are free to come out of this posture at any time if it becomes uncomfortable or painful. Breathing into the back body. We will be here for about 5 minutes and I will guide you on switching sides. Taking a nice deep breath in, gently pressing your way up through center. Switching out the legs here, extending your right leg, bringing the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, perhaps using that chair up against the legs for support. And rest here. If you had your head turned to one side, you can lay your head the opposite direction this time. Be here for about 5 minutes. And then we will make our way into Shavasana. invite you now to take a nice deep breath in, sigh it out, gently lifting the head, coming back off of your chair, perhaps scooting that chair forward a little bit, coming onto your back for a moment if that's accessible to you and comfortable to you. Perhaps rebound here on your back, hugging your knees to your chest. You can also do this from a seated position, finding what is the most comfortable for you. We're going to prepare to come into Shavasana for the last few minutes of our practice. So I invite you to explore what is best for your body for Shavasana. Today, you may lay on your back, perhaps with your legs out long, maybe supporting your legs on a cushion or a pillow or a bolster. You may like to take a constructive rest with your feet on the mat, your knees touching in together. You may like to take even a child's pose or come onto your belly and rest your forehead on the mat. I'm also going to demonstrate here an option with your chair. You can either sit in your chair, resting in a seated position, or take your legs up onto a chair, or you can even do this at a wall if you like, for a legs up the wall variation. Bringing your calves to the seat of the chair. I'm going to put a blanket underneath my head. Feel free to find any support you may need for your Shavasana. We'll rest here for the next few minutes. Simply relax, allowing yourself to melt into the mat, into the chair, noticing the support of these items on your body as you rest, allowing your mind to still. Simply let the thoughts come and go, knowing that I will guide you out when we are through. Enjoy your Shavasana. invite you to stay in Shavasana here if you like, as long as you like. However, if you feel ready to come out of this practice today, feel free to begin to invite gentle movement back into the body, perhaps wiggling the fingers and the toes, fluttering open your eyes if they were closed. If you're laying on your mat or in the chair with your legs in the chair, perhaps drawing those legs into the chest and then gently rolling over to one side. Taking your time to meet me in a seated position, either on your mat or in your chair. We'll take a closing breath together. Coming to whatever seated position is comfortable for you today. Take a nice deep breath in, maybe bringing the hands together in Anjali Mudra at the heart. Perhaps bringing your hands up to the forehead. The light and love in me sees and honors the light and love in you. Thank you for practicing with me.